Hiya, welcome to the Tech Voice podcast, and I'm your host Baz. And tonight we're doing topics PC discussions on AMD, Intel, and Nvidia. And I am joined by two friends, and I'll let them introduce themselves now.
Hello, it's Garth.
Hi, this is Lee.
Have you been playing any new games, guys, or anything recently?
No, I've had to be honest with you.
Go on ahead.
You're just gonna keep it in there.
Aye. Unfortunately. Look, do you know what? People are going to do this. But anyway, go on ahead.
No, I haven't really played anything recent to be honest. Just been playing Flight Simulator and stuff from the GTA Online.
Cool. What about you, Lee?
I just been playing a bit of Cyberpunk on my second playthrough. I kind of stopped playing because I kind of got a wee bit fed up. Got already completed it. Now I'm just playing Spring Commander and a bit of Game Dev Story on the mobile phone.
And we've been organising trying to play a wee bit of Gears 5 maybe the next day or two.
Oh yeah, I downloaded that last night.
Cool.
Game Pass.
I haven't played anything new since, just a wee bit of the medium. Only played maybe the first half an hour or so one day, just see what it's like. And it doesn't seem too bad, but you could tell it's sort of 4K 30 frames, so, But I'm quite enjoying it. We'll wait and see when I play a bit more just to see what it's like, But, when we get to the topic, so just want to note this here's recorded on the 29th of the 1st, 2021, and this is episode 5, if that's correct. So, Lee, you done the topic list, so I'm going to read them out and I'll let you do a wee bit of talking first, and me and Gareth then can chime in after that, if that's okay. So, the first one I want to talk about is Intel Rocket Lake S performance. So, what's
the Intel CPU's claiming they got ICP gain of something around 19%. It's mostly in single performance. So far, they're matching AMD Zen 3s and that performance there in single, but they still fall well behind in multi-core. What's, in my opinion, is not good enough. I know the CPU is still on 14 nanometers, but, well, I think Intel just give up on the 14 and move on.
Just bite the bullet and get it done. Now, I'd heard another thing that the heat is supposed to be even worse in them than it was on the 10th generation, like the 10900K. They ran hot as well, so.
You're talking about a sovereign amount of power and heat coming from this thing.
Like, they're trying to push these chips to the limit. That's old technology. Like, how long have they been using this 14 nanometer chip? Like, it's unreal.
Too many years to count.
I don't know. I think it'd be maybe 6 or 7 years at least or more.
Yeah, it's kind of getting ridiculous.
It's crazy, so it is. So you're saying that they're not going to be, and certain things are going to be good, depending on what application, and if they develop games for more multi-core, then they could be sort of lagging behind.
So it's not just that too. It's also the fact that in all the other Intel CPUs, they were always low overclock on them. So a lot of people thought they gained a lot when they did overclock them. But this time round, they're just going to be overclocked. Whatever.
So they're going to be tapped out. What you're saying is there's no room to overclock further than what they're going to give you.
Not much more. Sure, they're already proven that some 7.3s like the 5900 and the 5950 can be overclocked well beyond 5 gigahertz. So single core performance on them is pretty strong. So Intel does have a hard time to keep up. Then also multi-core performance. I don't think Intel's going to do well.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sort of happy with what I've got at the minute, so I don't know. I don't even think until Intel would sort of get a newer process, like even go down to 7 nanometer, or even at this stage they need to be looking at 5 because AMD's going down that route next. They need to start to catch up with that.
Well, if they did go to, for instance, to 7, for instance, they probably can match or even beat AMD no problem because, well, you find about this way, their 14s is matching Zen 2s or beating Zen 2s in most cases.
Yep.
So imagine what they'd be like if they got lower down to like 7.
I agree with you there. They will. They would beat them if they were same. What's your thoughts, Gareth, on it?
Uh, I'll be honest. They probably will have a tough time if it's going to be underperforming. Now, we don't know that for certain yet at the moment, but I think even if they were down to say 7, they would have a better chance at competing with AMD. At the minute, it's like one's too high and one's too low. That's the impression I'm getting at the moment. It's like, one's innovating, the other one's kind of innovating. I just think, to be honest, even if they had a 7 nanometer process, it would stand a better chance and would equally be as fair to competition as AMD to AMD.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really my thoughts really on it. I'm happy with my AMD processor.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I have an Intel 10th gen on my MacBook Pro 13-inch. Whether or not, off topic, I want to go down to say try Apple's M1 or M2, whatever. I like what they're doing. So if Apple's able to do it, if AMD is able to do it, then there's no reason why Intel shouldn't be able to do it as well. That's just my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm. One other thing I want to say to you just on that one as well, Lee, I want to bring you back to this, but I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard the prices were going to be a wee bit dearer again for these new chips.
That's the thing. Intel can't just keep charging big money for the CPUs. They don't have the power.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you first is like say a Zen 3 CPU like the 5900 versus the i9, let's be honest with you, I prefer to buy the Zen 3 5900 than an Intel. At least it's got a certain amount of power. At least it's run efficiently. You don't need a high power, especially when you right now there's this situation with the RTX cards, especially the 5800.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be high power, so you're going to have a CPU high power, or you might have a high powered GPU already. So it's not going to match out. You're going to have to keep buying a better power supply unit.
Yeah. Do you know what this new chip sounds like to me? It's not like even like a boosted version of the 10900K. It's more like a maxed out overclock version that you can't overclock any further. It's just like, so they're just, having it sitting that you don't have to do that. You know what I mean? It's of the 10900K. Maybe I'm wrong in saying that. But
so you try and say it's basically a 10th gen on steroids?
Well, a 10th gen, but if you want to get the best performance, you have to start and overclock it to get them 5.3 gigahertz on it. Whereas this here's just come with 5.3 gigahertz. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's just coming out of the box with that maxed out speed. Because it's not as if it's any new technology. It's not going to be a big massive boost in performance. Like, it's just going to be that 5.3 gigahertz. Because it's just going to give you more single core performance, but it's not giving you that like. If it was a new technology, it would be giving you a lot higher. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No.
I could be wrong on that. That just sounds like, when we're talking, that's what it sounds like to me. It's just a maxed out performance chip that you can't take it any further. They've just done the overclocking for you, really. And you're just buying and rebrand as a new product, which is technically not.
It haven't been a new product in years. It's just the same chip they're just redoing.
Mm-hmm. They're just upping the power limits and the heat and, to get more cores because they've had to, because AMD's pushed them.
Oh, I just find Intel to work harder on the year ones.
Yeah.
They're just trying to live the past glory where they were number one in the CPU market and no one could touch them.
Mm-hmm. Them
Unfortunately,
days are gone, you see. Yeah.
Since the days of Ryzen, they're long gone.
Yeah. You any other comments to that, or we move on to the next topic?
No, I don't think so, no.
I think we've pretty much sort of agree that they need to do something new and get the finger out, basically.
100%.
Mm-hmm. Lee, the next topic you have here is AMD Zen 3 stock issues. I think they know what direction you're going to go, but I'll let you take it away here.
It's just the fact that stock is very limited. People can't buy any specific models. The most common model people want to buy is the 5900 because it's the best value per core.
Mm-hmm.
Now the 5600Xs, I have decent CPU. It's the lowest price one, so people are buying it too. But it's still
But-
only a 6 core. People want more.
But yet now you could buy the other three models, but you just still can't buy this one. And every time you look at stock, it's like been delayed and delayed and delayed. So it is.
Yeah, because the 5800X is a bit overpriced for what it is. It's only an 8 core 16 threads, which is pretty good. But
I think
if
for
you
that
upgrade them,
price range, you should nearly be going for like a 3900X or something.
yeah, the 3900X is a better value one. The 5950X is good, but it is very dear.
Well, that was our leading into our next topic, so we'll maybe roll these two together because we'd sort of said that Zen 3 versus Zen 3 versus Zen 2 prices. So it depends on what you're buying. I think and what motherboard you have should dictate where you buy Zen 3 or Zen 2. That's my opinion. You know, if you've got a 5000 or 500 series board, you probably want to try and get a Zen 3, but depending on your budget as well and what makes sense.
Well, my opinion is a 7.3 should only be running a X570, even a B550.
Yep.
Because they're the Euro motherboards, you still have to upgrade the BIOS on them, not unless you buy one of the Euro launch motherboards that come out with the BIOS update already.
Which you can't even buy technically still.
Yes, a Dot Hero from...
They're supposed to release it in November and it still hasn't come out.
It is technically out, but
it's overpriced.
It's just very dear.
Yeah.
Considering you can buy the actual Hero board for nearly up to £60 to even £70 cheaper sometimes.
And
it's just the same board new enough.
Aye.
I know there are some difference in it now, but I still prefer to buy the cheaper one. It's still nearly the same. You just update the BIOS.
Yeah. What's your thought, Gareth, on the stock issues and the prices comparing the Zen 3 to the Zen 2 as well? Have you any thoughts or?
My opinion really is the whole situation that's going on at the minute in the tech industry and gaming industry, where it comes to like the pandemic. I don't want to use that as an excuse, but it's just like people aren't getting their parcels properly. Customers aren't getting their pre-orders on time. It just seems to be an ever-lasting trend at the moment. And I do think as well, like, the CPU really determines really what motherboard you're going for and budget. If you're going for, say, Zen 3, you're better having, I don't know, 450 plus at the very latest, 500, being the recommended. Obviously, vice versa for Zen 2 as well. But I do think the price increases as well, it can hinder folk between what they're wanting to do in their budget PC, if they do have a budget. Some people just like to go full out. It really just depends on the consumer, really, at the end of the day, or the prosumer, as some people like to consider themselves.
But then, to me, people should be buying based on what they need. But because of this whole stock shortage, people are buying based on maybe either having to go for another option, either going too low or too high. You know what I mean? They're not getting what they want because they're just picking something that they have to pick that's available.
The product, literally, exactly. They're going by what's available at the moment because they're just taking anything that goes, more or less. Anything that's available, they're grabbing because they don't know when their preferred product or their preferred CPU or their preferred, whatever is going to be in stock. Obviously, it will be in stock at some point. But as the weeks and months roll on, and if retailers are not able to get the products in stock, it's going to be like the impression I get, like you're starting to eat into the life cycle of the product, whereas near towards the end of the life cycle, hopefully by that stage, all retailers will be supplying them, but then you'll be into like a new generation of whatever, whatever CPU after, if you know what I mean. It's sort of like, it really can get to me with that because they're trying to obviously get the stock issues under control, but like it is eating into the life cycle. of the product, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Like we're now like the. Correct me if I'm wrong. Zen 3 was released in, was it the 5th of November, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are technically now nearly 3 months, give or take a week, another week or so, right? We're technically three months into it, and you're still delays of the the 5900X. Like that, I think that's pure mad. So it is.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on
It's the
that, Lee
same.
or Gareth?
It's
Yeah,
just the same.
it's pretty
It's
mad.
just the same everywhere.
Hmm.
I know there's exclusives for the AMD is not exclusive, but the reasons are really with the consoles launching and they took up a lot of their stock on CPUs and
That's what I was going to say.
GPUs and so forth.
Do you think has
But now
AMD too much to manufacture? Are they spreading themselves too thin?
I don't think they realized they didn't realize there would be that wanted
Mm-hmm.
to be truthful. I think they maybe had only so many available, but then the pre-orders all came in. It's just like, how are we going to manufacture all this?
Mm-hmm.
Then the games consoles, you know yourself, they always have a big demand for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think AMD should have done their homework and actually done proper figures before they agree to anything.
Let's quick question for you. Let's rewind back time, right? So in the last year or so, we've had two things that have happened. One, obviously, the pandemic, and it's caused obviously all these delays in products and getting them out to get people, the demand for it. Now, saying we roll back and we didn't have the pandemic, and two, obviously, we didn't have the increase in what, because people are obviously home at the minute and they're using gaming, it's boosted, and it's taken off more because of this. So if we were to roll back time and the pandemic didn't happen, would and gamers maybe didn't increase, would we have the same problems that we're having now? I personally don't think we would have. I think it would have been more normal. What's your
It would have
thoughts?
been better structured and organised, I think, at the moment. To be honest.
Yeah, but at the same time, that probably would have been better for the people who are buying it. But now gaming's took to a new level, but it's took something like that for it to happen at the same time. There's pros and cons to both sides of it. You know what I mean? If that's just coming to my thoughts. So say this didn't all happen, would this is off PC topic, I'm sorry, but like, would Microsoft have bought Bethesda, because of this increase in all these things, or would some would some of the events like that degree happen if this didn't happen? Do you know what I'm saying? If gaming didn't take off to a new level, would certain things like maybe as many products come out or so on? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because of this, things have changed. The whole market and the way the whole perception of gaming and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
trying to get something out, but do you understand what I'm saying? It's took this pandemic to boost game more, gamer into like it's on the level or higher than watching a film or or listening to music or whatever.
Basically, what you're saying is, without the pandemic, would the gaming industry be in the same situation as now?
Yes.
Or do you think the pandemic actually
boosted the gaming? I think it's
boosted
boosted
the
into a new
gaming?
level.
Yeah.
We've got all these, things that are happening. There's more, like, even Sony and Microsoft have, there's more acquisitions happening the next year or two. Would they have done that if gaming hadn't been boosted to that, on all these console sales and all? I don't know. I'm just saying, we're just in strange times, and it's hard to know. Don't get me wrong, I'm a gamer, and yous are gamers and into technology and stuff, and it's good to see that we're getting more mainstream and it's more a common thing. Before, pre-COVID, it was to a degree, but not to this degree. I feel anyway.
Also another thing that happened to AMD time they were launching is somehow people got hold of their CPUs and sold them for ridiculous money on eBay and whatnot.
Scalpers. We're back to this.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem. But the problem is, if
Yeah.
companies don't get behind this, they can't. It won't stop. it takes the companies getting behind it, and it takes consumers not buying from the scalpers, and that's the problem. The more consumers buy off scalpers, the more companies will let the scalpers do it, and it's going to keep going. We need,
The
consumers
companies
and
need
companies need to
to
make a stand.
the companies and consumers need to lean on all these websites that's selling these products. They shouldn't be selling.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of companies that sell stuff they shouldn't be selling and using excuses around short, where really they just sold it and didn't tell anyone.
Mm-hmm. We'll
It's
maybe need
just
to touch back on scalpers, but we'll need to maybe get these next two topics, maybe roll them into one, Lee, will we? And then we maybe touch a bit more on that, will we?
oh yeah.
So the next two topics obviously were the AMD and Nvidia GPU stock issues and prices. So if you want to talk a wee bit about that, Lee, and then we'll go into it a bit more in depth, maybe. If you want to take it away.
The AMD and Nvidia paper lunch. Well,
we
what I heard of Nvidia, for instance, it was just rumors and haysays, but for what I gathered, it was true enough. Supposedly half their stock was really sold before it even left the factory because they sold it all to miners.
I didn't hit the retailers.
Nope, none of the retailers said. Also, I heard some stock went missing. Some AIB somehow, their secondary company they used to sell, say, fixed products or old products on, somehow got a hold of brand new products they shouldn't have, and they were selling them about £500 or £600 dearer than they should.
Let me just do
What?
a wee, we were talking about Zen 3 stock issues there, Lee, but Zen 3 stock issues were nowhere near as bad as the GPU stock issues were. Zen 3 could have been technically called a paper lunch to a degree, but the stock issues for the GPUs were pure mad. You still to this day can't even buy you can't go on to Scan or eBay or what you call it when you use overclockers and even get a price for an AMD 6800 or 6800 XT. They're not even.
Yeah, the prices I'm
They're
getting,
not even
for
available.
instance,
It's mad.
well, their retail price of a 6800 XT was £680. But what prices I see on overclockers on some of the stock cards are near £800.
That's shocking. That's a big increase.
On the ABI ones, overclock ones, is all £900. The 6800 is actually the price of XT version. That's just ridiculous. And then the video is not much better. I saw prices of their 3060 12 gig card. It's dearer than the 3060 Ti version. In some cases, you can buy the normal 3060 Ti for around $4 to $450 in some shops or websites I've seen. But then I've seen the other websites selling 12 gig one for $450 to $500.
You're talking there, Lee. So you're saying to me, sorry, while you were talking there, I was just doing a wee calculation. So you're saying, what was it, 6800 or 6800 XT was £680, right?
Yeah, originally.
Aye, and they were going for 800 plus probably.
Yeah.
If you take 800 plus minimum, you're talking nearly 18% markup on the price of what it should be. 18% plus. Because someone obviously going higher than that. That's pure mad. So it is.
That's not including delivery.
Oh, I know that, but if you're talking just the price alone, you're still paying delivery on the base price anyway. So that a mute point really anyway. You're just paying an 18% extra increase on a product that you shouldn't really have to.
Well, for the price of it, I expect free delivery, but unfortunately, we never get that.
Question for you. So you watched Nvidia's press conference for the 3000 series?
Yeah, I can't remember much about it because it was that long ago.
But before mining, anybody talked about mining. I had never heard much about it until their press conference, and they mentioned it. So why did it only start to come back whenever they mentioned it. Do you know
Well,
what I mean?
supposedly they're added some features onto their graphics cards that meant to be more helpful to miners.
That's what I've heard as well. Do you think that they pushing this to try and get more sales?
Yes, it wouldn't surprise me. Nvidia has always been a greedy company, in my opinion. Well, AMD, I don't know about them, but their graphics cards are even worse, and they're basically, I don't know, you probably can get gold quicker if you mine in a mine shaft for a year.
When were they released, Lee, the Nvidia cards? Was it October?
It was right in October.
And we're in January, and you can just about the odd time buy one, and they're not even that readily available either.
This dear too, like in the UK, for instance, they're some are just ridiculous price.
Mm-hmm.
The prices of say some of the 3060 Ti's and even the 3060 12 gig, I can't really mention because it's not technically out yet. But the 3060 Ti prices are dearer than the 3070. Like, I can understand they put a mock up on some of the ABI overclock ones, but some of the mock up prices is just too ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can't just keep charging wherever they like and get away with it.
Yeah.
And especially now at the moment for ones in UK, they're suffering even more with other prices increases.
Mm-hmm. Gareth, have you any additional things or anything you think we've missed anything out that we maybe went over or maybe not touched on enough, or something? Have you any additional thoughts on stock issues or prices for GPUs, even comparing them to Zen 3 stock issues or prices as well, or whatever, and we've maybe missed on?
Really, it just resolves back to the original topic. I think just with the situation and stuff that we're in, it's hard probably to accommodate, just with the times and stuff, couriers and deliveries and borders and and all, just, it's a whole list, like, just goes on and on and on. But
and we're coming into Chinese New Year as well.
Can I mention something else there when Garth talking about prices and stuff?
Go for it.
So, Garth, you think the prices increase all to do with the pandemic and whatnot? How come in the last one of the days when I actually done proper fair research, most graphics models I know of in the last couple of years have been out? For instance, the AMD was it RX 580, for instance. It should be around, I seen it last year now when I bought my computer last January, was around 130 till maybe 160, depends on the model, but you can get it for like around that price. Well, I seen that for
below
sale.
£300. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I seen it for sale on most websites for £300. That's just too ridiculous for a really old card.
What was the other one you were telling me? Was it a 1050 or was it 1060 or something? Or 2060 was mad money as well. Can't remember.
Yeah, they were going for ridiculous money. It should have was it AMD 5700 XT, for instance. It should be around actually going down in price.
Aye, when they first came out, about 400, were they not?
I seen them for going for £300 to £350, depends on the model and overclock and whatnot. Well, they're selling now for like between £500 to £600,
which is mad, like. And you should buy a new one for that, but they're overpriced. You can't even get them for that money.
The worst of it is they're a good enough card, but compared to the RDNA 2 cards, the RDNA 2 cards are double the power and double the performance. That's just not worth that kind of money. And they only 8 gig of RAM on top of that, so you're not really upgrading. Considering the other card I previously mentioned, the 580, for instance, 8 gig of RAM is what, 2017, 2018?
Let's cut that one a wee bit short there, Lee. We'll do the next topic, and then I want to try and focus on your last topic, right?
Okay.
I think that's the big one we need to try and go at. Do you need to say anything else there, Gareth? Sorry, before Lee cut you off or anything, or are you happy enough?
I apologize, I cut you off.
No, I'm happy enough. I just think, personally, I am happy Nvidia are recognizing miners and that community, is all I'm saying. I'm happy they are recognizing them. and acknowledging them and giving them features. Whether or not, I see GPUs more than just a gaming tool, to be honest. I do see them actually benefiting technology other than gaming, like artificial intelligence, data science, all that there is very interesting. And what Nvidia are doing with their GPUs at the moment are very good. Now, obviously, majority of them are tailored towards gaming, but you do have GPUs that are workstation GPUs and stuff. I don't know. I just like the way they are trying to incorporate more than just gamers onto their platform, if you want to say. Um, but again, like the stock and prices and stuff, I just think it can relate back to the previous topic, really, as to the situation we're in and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Um.
Just my thoughts.
Um. I'm not sure about when you're talking about miners and stuff, and like you're happy that they're supporting, maybe to a degree, but it's
To a degree,
like
yes, because they are, I don't know, like they are doing something I believe is quite positive and good and innovation and stuff.
but like
But
no,
I do
all right,
understand.
sorry. Can I? Sorry, Lee. Sorry, before you chime in, can I make a comment? Right. So you're saying you support miners and stuff, and for people that are trying to, like Lee, who's trying to get a graphics card, or say me potentially that maybe wants to upgrade in the next year, right? How comes there's a boy there that has got nearly 80 graphics cards of a 3080 for his miner rig and boasting about it, and getting at gamers, oh look what I've got, you can't even get one, and he's got a car way so many, is it 3090s in the bit as well, or whatever it is. Like, to me that's
Sets
wrong.
3080s.
Aye, that's mad. Like, that's not right. Like, you know what I mean? Fair enough, support miners, but gamers are restricted to one per purchase, so should they be. It's like one person's got,
But
like, there's nearly
that's
90 cards. That's not right. I don't agree with it either.
but like that's I know what you're trying to say, but like I don't think if he's boasting or whatever and having a bad image towards gamers and stuff, like we don't know the situation is how that individual obtained the graphics cards. Like
If you're
personally, I
only
don't.
allowed to purchase one card per person, it should be the same rule for everybody, whether you're a gamer or a miner, or uh, a consumer who works, with their PC. Do you know what I mean? Or
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
professional.
Yeah, no, I agree. I
That
agree.
person shouldn't be getting 80 cards, or nearly 90, because he's done two mining rigs, one in a car and one in his house. Goalie,
Mhm.
what do you want to say?
Well, first, I don't agree with supporting Bitcoin miners due to the fact that a lot of FA practices in that. How they attain their graphics cards, for one, is FA as hell. I had a lot of other choice words, but unfortunately, I won't say that.
You have to just watch what you're saying on the podcast.
Yes, I know. That's why I'm trying to hold back some of my other profanities. They, how they purchase their cards is somewhat illegal. They
they,
backdoor them. They get them through other means.
they should be purchasing them the same as anybody else. They should be
Yes, through a
restricted through.
proper
They should be buying them.
retailer.
Yes, by a retailer, one purchase per customer. Do you know what I mean? Now, how does somebody end up with nearly 90 graphics cards to one person, and gamers out there,
Uh,
trying to get one, and they can't even get one at a normal price? And I guarantee you, they don't pay that extra price for them either.
No, they'll probably use a shell corporation that purpose them as a fake retailer and probably get them at that price.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's all so many means you can get them, but they're doing it. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. I think we'll have to agree to disagree. I think me and Lee is against you, Gareth, and that one. Not meaning just this is our opinions and this is what we're here to do. But I don't know. I think the miners is just getting away with too much at the minute, and I think
Yeah,
Nvidia.
especially the new
I don't
cards
think AMD is supporting them, but I think Nvidia is supporting them. You know.
in some form with one another.
Yeah. Next topic, or is there any more thoughts before we go on?
Nah, I'm alright.
Go for it. So Lee, you were sort of talking to me about this a while ago, and you were sort of maybe thinking about this one if it was available. So the AMD 6700 has still not been announced.
Yes, there was a BIOS leak offer supposedly back when a couple months ago or 2 months ago. And a lot of people was actually looking forward to the release because it's going to be another cheaper card on the market. It's going to be probably priced around 450 to maybe even 500.
Yeah.
And a lot of people hoping it would be 12 gig RAM or VRAM actually. I was looking forward to it too because, well, my system I have 650 watts gold rating, and well, I was after the 6800 XT, and I was just push my system. I was really happy, but then I was starting to get the 6800, but they're hard to get. 6700 might be more my sweet spot because I'm really only play 1080p and high frame rates.
But you were thinking about maybe jumping to 1440p at some point, so maybe something
Yeah,
that
at
wee
some
bit
point.
give you a wee bit of leeway, maybe something maybe a wee bit
That's
higher.
why I was happy enough with the 6700 because 12 gig of RAM, so enough power if I used it. But I might actually have to hold on all my purposes until I actually can see what's out there and available.
Have they given any reasons, or have you seen any of the reasons why they haven't been announced yet? Or
I haven't seen nothing. I've seen nothing about the card other than the BIOS leak.
no, I haven't seen any like articles or posts or anything about about the cards, but I've heard some other like tech YouTubers and stuff are saying that they reckon that they're not going to come out. Now I don't know how why they're saying that or what. That's just what I've heard from them. Now I'm not saying that that's true or not. I don't know. But
From
we'll have
what
to wait
I
and see.
read, when AMD did their whole presentation on the graphics cards back in what was it, October, November time? It was
In
going to be
October, I think it was.
beginning of 2021 when they even launch or announce the 6700. So it's still technically only January, but I thought I would at least heard something by now.
Like we're in Monday's February, really. The start of it. So
I thought I at least heard that it might come out around March, even April time.
Is
Might
there
be
any
more useful.
is there any events in February? Because CES was in January, so if you thought they were going to announce it, they would announce it at that.
Yes,
So I don't
that's
know.
what everyone thought. That's what everyone was hoping.
Or do
But
you
I think
think
that
because
maybe,
of this whole stock issue and stuff, they're maybe holding off to
yeah,
try and
I
get that
think they're
sorted
holding
first?
it off until the 6800 is actually available to buy. Let's say it's just in paper.
Aye.
So I'd love to see it out to see what it's capable
But
of because the 6800 itself is a powerful graphics card, and ST versions is pretty hefty too.
let me throw something at
So
you here. So obviously AMD have got their two. Well, I'm not even going to go for the big dear one. Like they've got two good cards at decent prices, right? Why would they even bring out the 6700 considering they're still selling the 5700 at stupid money?
well, unfortunately, they're not selling the 5700 XT is sure money.
But maybe
I
they're
think
seeing that
it's
it's still selling and it's going for more money. Do you know what I mean? So they're maybe using that. Maybe get rid of them first before they bring out the new card as well. That could be.
true.
It could be a bit of that plus the stock issues.
I think it's more the stock issues first.
But it could be a bit of both. You don't know. We don't know. You see, that's the thing.
I
What?
just wish there was more AMD just announcing not going to bother with it, or at least saying it's not maybe going to be launched until sometime.
I give us an idea, rather than
Yeah,
this whole sort of waiting and the unknown.
like the GPU stock issues is quite bad on both sides.
Yeah. Garth, you
But
any or go ahead there, Lee? Sorry.
I think the AMD stock issues is worse than the Nvidia because you can't actually. Only people who got a hold of AMDs are the ones who pre-order.
Aye, and that was
And they're
very
still
hard.
having
It
issues.
was like potlucking launch day, so it was.
Yeah.
You know. Garth, you any thoughts or anything that we haven't maybe something you could throw into the mix on it?
They believe companies, manufacturers should be more transparent and let you know, really, even on social media, just something just to keep us in the loop and to not just keep it all sort of like announced at one stage and then like not hear about it for ages? Or do you know what I mean? I think companies I think the moral to keep it short and sweet is they need to be transparent, and they need to just have that communication with its customers just to keep them into the loop as to what exactly, is going on and where they're sitting at and the progress and stuff. Really, to be honest, that's just my forte on it. But I do believe it's a good card. It's a good middle range card. Like
But
I think
companies
it does have a lot.
Yeah.
It's just we don't know what the situation is about it and stuff.
Like all you hear from is, oh, there's stock coming and that's it, and then you don't hear from them for like months, and then there's a wee small drop, and then you don't even know when it happens. To even give anybody a chance, to even try and pick up a
No,
card.
they'll pre-orders bar from what I read.
Are they? So they're not even like proper drops either.
Not unless somehow the people who buying them and selling them.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
But I have heard this now, Barry, what I think is quite iffy business practices. It's not the major websites or the major retailers. Some retailers, like small computer shops, own themselves, are selling these cards on eBay at big prices.
As well, so they're scalping them. They're being
Yeah,
scalpers too. Yeah.
I heard that there, and it's not just the US, happened in UK too. I heard there was a couple computer shops in England that's been doing it.
Well, I want to throw another thing in the mix when you're talking about stock issues, just to sort of come to my head. I always think of things whenever we're on the topic, but like you're talking about obviously scalpers and stuff, and people not being able to get the company's not getting stock and stuff. But like I heard like there's a few places like over and I don't know here, but in America. But they're going up to what do you call that company that sells stuff at reasonable prices? A lot of people, but it's only in certain areas they are in.
Micro Center, I think it is.
But I remember they're saying that there's was it 10 or 12 people or whatever were in the queue one morning to go in and get one of the Nvidia GPUs, and the manager came out to the door, and they must have had so much stock in, but the manager came out the door and said there's none available, they're all gone already. So staff were getting first preference of the stock. So people who are working there had a better chance than the normal consumer, which I think is mad as well. Like,
it's not fair because I can understand staff have maybe it depends on the card, but if the very little stock, it should went to the pre-orders or people who actually wanted it.
Yeah.
Not unless sometimes every retailer got their own preference and how their own rules and so forth. So I can't really save much because sometimes when I'm at work, I maybe go to the shop shelves and pick something and set it behind the tills.
I say if you're not big in the industry, like whether you're an influencer or a staff member or like a miner, like you're sort of penalised, because you can't get the stock. It's all these other people have got easier access to them, which is not fair. Everybody should have an equal, even chance. So they should.
Well, I think Micro Center should maybe have a new policy that customers come first, staff second.
Well, even the percentage, like if there's only 10 comes in, I'm sorry, staff members, but you can only get, I'm only allowed to give you 2. Do you know what I mean? Try and restrict it a bit at least, But like, if there's a queue at the door and every card's gone that you've got, and not one customer has a chance, like it looks bad in that company, like as well at the same time. For me, it does anyway.
It does look bad, but at least they're getting stock somehow, unlike some of the places over here.
No, we're always like over here. See the UK, like America and Japan, or wherever.
It's just always the last. Like we're always like sort of like I wouldn't say we're the last, but like we're always. I think America always does. Yeah.
Well, we could be worse. We could be in the Republic of Ireland.
They don't even sell PC components. Full stop. They have to order them from Europe or UK.
Yes, I know.
I think in the user base for the country, if that's something they're interested in.
I understand why there's
maybe me and you should open a computer shop down south.
I just one just across the board and deliver everywhere down there.
Yeah.
Import them in from other companies and just sell them for higher money. You make a fortune on that.
I know.
Right, well, we go on to the final topic. Lee, I know you've been itching for this one, so you have. So Nvidia GPUs, too many models, and we're going to talk probably mostly about VRAM and model names, maybe. So go for it, Lee. Unleash.
The biggest problem I have is 30 Setsy Ti have an 8 gig of RAM, then they launch a 30 Setsy with 12 gig of RAM. But the Ti version should be the most powerful one and
Should have more
should have
RAM.
the most VRAM, but it doesn't.
It's like when you go to a lower tier card, for me, you should have less, and as you go up in the models, you should be getting a bonus, not like a disadvantage.
And another gripe I have is the 3080 having 10 gig of RAM, where the 1080, the 2080 Ti's all have 11 gig.
The 1080 Ti and the 2080 Ti.
Yep.
See, that's a problem I have. Like, if I was going to upgrade, like say I went for a 3080, which is a similar price point, like I know it's only 1 gig of RAM I'm losing. I would rather be getting up than down. You know, I don't even want the same. I want more. So I do. It doesn't make sense.
But here's another thing I heard. There's been a lot of leaks from different companies, all different APIs. Well, supposedly there is a 16 gig version of the 3070. Well, that's a bit of hearsay. Not many companies actually mention it. It's only one so far. But the 3080 now, they're going to be a 20 gig version of it.
Right.
Which I don't get. Why not launch that at the beginning instead of having this 10 gig? Then there's also the 3060 Ti. Supposedly going to be a 12 gig version of it too. Which I don't get. Why launch a 8 gig version when they got a 12 gig version coming?
Do you think?
And then, go ahead.
Do you think they're launching the lower gig models first so they can have good prices, and then when they launch the higher gig, then they're like, but it's going to cost you this amount of money, to make.
Yes, I agree.
I think that's the case. Yeah, definitely.
Sure. Remember, I was saying earlier, in certain websites I seen the 3060 Ti is cheaper than the 3060 12 gig. Which I don't get. It should be the Ti version should be dearer than the standard one. Because the other one got more RAM or VRAM, it's not even more dear in some cases. And some of those are not even the actual overclock or the high-end AIBs. So I don't know what's going to happen. Very soon you're going to see a 3060 12 gig selling for like 550 quid, where it should be nowhere near that.
I think the models and the structures and the pricing and the spec of them it's all over the place. There's no. It's like when we were talking about doing the podcast yesterday about Microsoft's Game Pass where it's like everything's just messed up. It doesn't make sense to me, and what I know it's not the same, but it's similar to what they're doing. It's all over the place.
I just think the person in charge of sales in Nvidia has just been sniffing too much of the white stuff.
Or the product development team.
Bit of both.
Product development team, whoever can
I was Nvidia, I'd be ashamed what they're doing. They're releasing cards that's not even worth the price they're barely selling for at the moment. Then they're bringing out higher grade models within months of release.
It was bad enough before, like in the 20 series, when you had you say you have like MSI.
Oh, the Super and the TI.
There's maybe 2 or 3 different naming models in it. Now they've got naming models plus different RAM models, so it's just getting ridiculous. So it is.
Phase 2, they're going to be different sizes. Actually, there's different sizes.
The
3060 Ti comes in 2 fan, 2 slot one. I've seen a single slot one supposedly coming out. I've seen a triple fan, triple slot one.
And they're talking about making them wider as well, or am I imagining?
That's more for the single slot ones, I think.
Right.
So use a bigger fan.
That's ridiculous. Just keep them
for the ITSs.
Usually different sizes were equipped to different models, not within the same model.
A single slot one with a single fan unit might be for ITX cases.
Right.
Which I understand, because they're small, they have so much room. It's
but
understandable.
They should be similar specs, but they shouldn't be different variation in specs, as well.
Oh
At the
no,
same
no,
time.
they're roughly the same specs. It's just different size of board and maybe fan unit and cooling unit.
I don't.
But
I
so it probably sells down to a jet engine.
like the fan on the PlayStation 5. That's quite
Nah,
loud
dude.
actually if you've got the bad model.
It's a turbine on
It is
steroids.
like I think I have the bad fan. Mine can get loud, and me not even like even in idle I can hear the fan going at times.
Oh yeah, dude, you got the bad one then.
I don't know.
From what I
It still
read.
works, but it's loud. Now maybe not just as loud as the PlayStation 4 Pro one, but it is. When it goes, it's constantly going.
Hey, dude, can I ask you a question? You should put a hamster inside and could use it as a wheel.
I keep it fit.
But the
Dear.
fittest hamster ever.
Lee or Garth, sorry, have you any thoughts for the Nvidia GPUs and the
Like,
models and the
to be honest,
VRAM and the
just by
naming of things?
listening, just by listening to what Lee's talking about, I think he's really nailed it on the coffin, to be honest. I think they really do need to just probably, I wouldn't say get a grip, but they just need to
Structure
I
it
just think they
better,
need
name
to,
it better,
yeah, they need to be transparent and structure it better.
less models.
Yeah, exactly. No, I definitely think Lee's definitely nailed it on the coffin, to be honest. I don't really think, I don't know. I just definitely think they just need to be transparent and more open and have a better structure, to be honest.
Like, I like
It,
AMD at the moment because they have got 3 models out, and you know what you're getting. You know what they're specifically
Exactly.
for. But they're
Kai,
Have it
similar.
in
They're
like
not.
a
There's
tier
not
system.
a lot of
Or,
variations
yeah.
on it. Go on ahead there, Lee. Sorry.
well, ATI back in the day where AMD just bought them, I think, they had the same issue. A lot of different models, a lot of different variants, different gig of RAM, somewhat, and too many letters in the names like XTX and so forth. And I think there was a S version. But anyway, that's the way they were. They were a complete mess, a shit show basically. Nvidia now had a simple model, the naming scheme, which they worked with up
Until now.
until the they
Even the
had it in the
2080
even
was a
the
wee bit.
10. Aye, they had the 1060, the 1070 and the 1080, then had the TI versions, which was simple enough. Then they went onto the 2000 gen and had the Super and the TI, which I never
And the
got.
standards as well.
Aye.
Here's another company. Just going to throw this in. Sorry. What other company has a big naming problem scheme as well?
Xbox.
Well, that's yes, debatable, but no, in the same market, same PC market, Intel.
Oh yeah.
They're a disaster. Like you've got what well, going by the old one, what a 10. You've like a 10 700, 10 700K, 10 700F, 10 900K, 10 900, 10 9, 10
It
900.
is
Yeah.
quite
So
confusing,
I'm
yeah.
just even trying to say them
Definitely.
all, and that's only what I know of. There's more than that, you know.
Yeah.
There actually
So
is a worse naming scheme on market car market, for instance. Some car manufacturers. Oh jeez, great. I can name one, and you probably would agree with me.
go for it.
BMW.
Well, they do a lot of naming schemes and.
Too many different variants.
But right, we'll keep it back at technology for this podcast. I know Garth's going to say there's technology in cars, but this is PC topics.
For a
I
future
also heard a lot of rumors about the manufacturers of the chips. Was it TSMC or something?
And the prices, is that what you're talking about? The prices they had said that they're.
Not only just that, there was information. There was an article I read about they're holding off a lot of production to go into making chips for cars, the automotive industry. So they got a big contract for that, and supposedly they're focusing more on it. So they're leaving everything else to the back burner, which it's not right. It should be whoever's there first,
I
because
know.
that's who paid the most money.
And then
Then
was
also,
there not another thing about like people weren't getting as much discounts? They weren't giving
yeah,
like the
if
more you
say you
buy,
or
you don't get the same discount before you have to pay nearly full price or something.
there's going to be no discount on, shall I say, mass buys here. I imagine you order 2 million chips, you probably won't get the same discount. You should probably just get the same. You just have to pay it.
Uh,
Then there was other manufacturers too who makes RAM chips, like what was it, Micro or Microx or something? Macron. Do you remember the name Barry properly?
Micro ATX? No, or no. Oh, Micro or Is it
Mini
Micron?
88?
Micron? No? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, they're supposedly now running short on their chips, but I find it's a bit
I
suspicious.
think it's Micron. Hmm.
I just find it too suspicious. This time of year with all the other issues, they're now running low.
Do you
I'm
think?
going to charge more money.
Do you think that TSMC has too many? They're firing too many pies, and we need another company to come in with another similar or better product at this stage to sort of give them a bit of competition. It's because they don't have the competition at the minute is the problem, and they're sort of like the king at the minute. Because they can produce these chips, and like even Intel can't get doing what they're doing.
Yes, I agree. There has to be another chip manufacturer out there that is capable on the same level
Mm-hmm.
to try to get it out. There have been
Mm-hmm.
companies who try but obviously failed. I
Uh,
can name one, but
go.
Samsung.
Now, obviously, at the minute, we have only really two manufacturers that makes GPUs. Technically, Intel makes more laptops. Onboard
Integrated.
graphics. What I'm trying to say, integrated graphics, right? Obviously, they're trying to branch into the market for where it's going to be, for consumer gamers or, for work purposes. But do you think if Intel come out and then there's three manufacturers of GPUs, do you think the consumers would benefit from that? Do you think that would drive animation better and maybe all like Nvidia doing all these stupid things? Maybe put a bit more focus into what they're doing. And with
Depends
more
on what.
competition. You know what I'm trying to
Depends.
say?
I know what you mean. Depends what the GPUs aim at. If they
Mm-hmm.
aim on the professional grade or
Gamers. I
everyday user grade.
I think they will all do a bit of both. Don't know how good they'll be at it, but
That's the
it's one of those
problem.
that's
Are
going
they
to take
going to be
time.
matching performance or
Mm-hmm.
a wee bit lower but cheaper prices? They might do well on that end. Or they're going
Come
to
on,
be like full
Intel
speed ahead
cheap
and try
prices
to beat
and
them.
Intel and cheap prices. Come on.
I know, dude. I was hopeful. Okay, hopeful.
Dear.
Now I heard Apple's supposedly working on CPUs and trying to work on a GPU and stuff, but then
Well,
again, it's Apple, so
they're not going to work on GPUs. Their chips are built in CPU and GPUs, sort of like AMD's APUs. So
basically they're copying AMD.
they're not. No, it's not really copying. I personally think it's more efficient if you can do that because if it's built in like a console as well, like if it's built in, you know, it's all integrated and it's designed to for max performance. Because if you have a CPU and a GPU and a motherboard and it's all separate, like you're relying on them parts to work well together. Whereas if the component's designed and it's all on one chip, I think it can be more power efficient but could be good performance out of it. But I know they're still early stages at the minute. We need a few generations down to see how well they go. But I think it's got potential.
It
I don't
does
know.
have potential.
Don't know if you both
I
agree on that or
share a
not.
lot of AMD APUs, for instance. Zen 3 versions are actually might be pretty good performance, but
Mm-hmm.
it's all lagging behind in the GPU that's all using Vega.
Yes, but there's new. Is there not new laptops coming out this year with the RD or Zen 3
Nvidia.
plus? No, but AMD's bringing out the
No, not
laptops with
the CPUs are AMD Zen 3.
Aye, but they're
But
with Vega at the
graphics,
minute, but they're going to have RDNA 1 or 2 graphics in them, so that's going to be better on laptops.
yeah, but like the last generation, they're going to be like, where they at? Not paper launch because the
Well, I know,
4000
I know,
the
but
4000
I don't
version was
think
hard to get.
I don't think they should launch these until they get the PC component side of it sort out first, then do it. Which I think they're going to do because this is rumored to be the Vega ones are coming out shortly, but the ones with the RDNA on them and the GPU will be out later on, I think, in the year. So
I think AMD to manufacture more CPUs and GPUs, then worry about the other ones.
well, focus on what they've got to get out the door first, like.
By the time they get this all sorted out, dude, the next generation will be coming available.
That's the problem, dude, because they rumored Zen 5 to be coming out either end of this year or within the next half of next year.
Yep.
Approximately. But at the same time, the way things are going, I can't see that. I think it's going to maybe delay to the end of next year, maybe, or the following year. To give them a wee bit more time. For the life cycle because of the delays and all.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Bart, on that. Yeah, definitely.
We'll see.
Hey, Barry, me and you must have a trip down to Fansome these days to get the cheaper prices.
The what?
To import some of the stuff is going to be very dear. Have you seen the mock-up prices or the way they're doing it? 20% VAT, then up to 25% custom tax.
Are you serious?
I'm not joking, this it's all official.
Oh, you did tell me there's some boy ordered something, wasn't it? Aye, right, hold on, aye. It's going back to me now. We'll have to, I don't know, dude. I
Can
think
you
this...
imagine, no, hold on a sec. Imagine the price of a £600 GPU. How much money is going to be added to it?
You talking about the 20% plus then on top of that another 25% or something?
Up to 25%. Depends on the custom officer. Yeah, it's not standardized.
That's ridiculous. See, this should have been all ironed out before Brexit actually went ahead. This is what they're supposed to be doing.
Dude, what no, what makes it even worse is that's just England, Wales, and Scotland. The Northern Ireland is going to be worse again.
Oh, we always get shafted, to be quite honest with you.
That's why I'm saying we should open a computer shop down south.
See for the prices.
We still the free trade.
It nearly be cheaper to take a flight to somewhere and buy a few products. If you're going to buy a couple of new, say I was going to buy a graphics card new in Garth or whatever, it would be cheaper for one to go to another country and buy it and bring it home than to get delivered.
That's what I'm saying. We did get a trip. I'm bringing a fan.
That's mad. Like that's crazy. But
or
you can't even go
get
for
a PO box
anyway.
somewhere in France or Germany.
Aye, and then somebody just goes over and lifts them then on one go.
Yep.
It's crazy. Boys, we've been on for just over an hour. Are you any other topics, or do you want to wrap her up soon for this podcast?
I say all I wanted to say, apart from using profanities.
What about you, Garth? You any other thoughts or?
I don't know if I can voice my own opinion, to be honest. Again, everyone's really open to their own discussion, but I do think, really, to sum the whole thing up in the conclusion, I think companies need to be transparent and need to let people know on stock levels. They need to know exactly where they're sitting at with retailers, and they just need to be more corresponding with the audience and to just let them know exactly what's going on without people trying to really take it on themselves to, the last resort is to obviously pay extraordinary prices for these products, which we all have so much interest and passion for.
Right, but the problem is that this is going to continue to go this way because people are doing it. We as consumers need to say, no, we're paying, fair enough, you don't mind paying an extra £10 or £20 if you're wanting a product, but an extra £100 or £150 on top of something, that's ridiculous. That could go towards, if you're buying a CPU, right, or a GPU, or whatever, say a CPU and you're paying an extra £100 on top of it, that extra £100 could buy you a cooler, like an AIO cooler or something. Do you know what I'm saying? This is ridiculous.
Exactly.
What you're losing out on by paying these extra prices. And we need as consumers to say no, and companies need to get behind it as well, and they need to say no. What the price is, we sell it, and that's it. But that's
exactly.
my thought. That's my final rant for this podcast. But if you're happy enough, we'll wrap it up there, and and we'll.
Yeah, I'm happy enough.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I will.
There we go again. Garth, are you happy enough, or you have any last wee minute thoughts?
Happy enough. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. That's our PC topics. We'll probably be back with another one. I think maybe the next one's going to be either a PlayStation related or an Xbox. And thanks for listening, and I hope you like the content. And we'll see you all in the next video.
All right, now, bye.
Cheers. Thank you.